My sister-in-law culled 3 children in her care over 3 years and targeted my daughter next for inheritance money. But when I tried to expose her, she had me committed to a psych ward and turned everyone against me. So I escaped and got her in the most nuclear way possible. My sister-in-law culled 3 children in 3 years, and my daughter was next in line. Megan had been our go-to babysitter since she married my brother. I trusted her because she worked at a daycare with 5 stars on Yelp. But 3 years ago, when my nephew Tyler was in her care, he fell down the stairs at her house. Megan was the one to find the body and dial for 911, but by the time they came, it was already too late. At first, I agreed that it was just an honest mistake, until Megan scheduled the funeral service less than 24 hours later, before anyone could even process what happened. And even weirder, Tyler had been terrified of stairs since he was 2, and always scooted down on his bottom. But when I mentioned this to Megan, her face contorted like she had bitten into a lemon. What are you implying? That I pushed an effing 3-year-old down the stairs? I laughed it off and mumbled something about kids being unpredictable, but deep down, an awful gut feeling filled my chest. 2 weeks later, Megan showed up with a new Louis Vuitton bag and designer shoes, said she got them at an estate sale. 10 months later, my cousin's daughter Emma died at Megan's house too. This time it was anaphylactic shock from peanut exposure. As soon as my cousin Janet broke the news, my insides turned to lead, because I knew damn well Emma was allergic to peanuts. Heck, we all did. Janet constantly complained in the family group chat about how Emma couldn't eat peanut butter sandwiches, so now the benefit of the doubt made even less sense. But when I went to visit Megan to see how she was doing, she could barely get out of bed, and her Instagram was riddled with photos of Emma, all captioned with broken heart emojis. When Megan was back to work, I tried to subtly ask her why she wasn't aware of the allergy. In response, she muttered something about how she must have gotten into something when she wasn't looking. She couldn't even look me in the eye when she said it. And that same month, she and my brother moved into a renovated Victorian house. Well, her family's income was around the same as mine, so it didn't make any sense. But I didn't want to gossip while the entire family was grieving, so I stayed quiet. Until Halloween last year, when my other nephew Mikey was getting ready for trick-or-treating at Megan's house. Because, surprise, surprise, he drowned in Megan's pool. Apparently, he had torn the pool cover off when she wasn't looking and jumped in. 3 dead children, all while in Megan's care. That was the moment I broke the silence and called my mom. When we finally got onto the topic of the 3 deaths, I striked. Don't you think it's weird that they were all in Megan's care? Mildred, these were accidents, she interrupted. Megan is devastated. How dare you even suggest otherwise? I sighed and hung up. I tried my aunt next, then my dad. They all gave the same response. At Sunday dinner, when I barely touched my food, my brother pulled me aside. The family's worried about you. Maybe you should talk to someone about these conspiracy theories. Even my husband thought grief was making me paranoid. So that evening, I met up with my friend Jane, and together we realized something. Every death happened when my brother was conveniently out of town for work, and Megan always insisted on watching the kids solo. She was always the first to organize the funerals and have everything arranged like clockwork. But I didn't want to bring this up to her myself, so instead I made my friend do it. We were all getting coffee together when the topic of the 3 deaths came up. So did you really organize all 3 funerals? Jane asked innocently. Megan nodded, keeping her face neutral. That's a lot of planning in such a short amount of time. It must have taken you a lot of work, Jane remarked. I was watching her like a hawk, and for a second her cheeks flushed with red and her eyes narrowed. Yep, she exclaimed before going to the bathroom. When she returned, she immediately changed the topic. 2 weeks later, Megan and my brother took a month-long vacation to Europe. They both quit their jobs to focus on family. When Megan offered to pay for a couple's getaway so me and my husband could grieve in silence, I almost said yes. Until I realized that she wanted to watch our daughter Lily for the weekend too. My stomach dropped thinking about what happened to the other 3 kids, but she kept insisting, saying we needed a break. I ended up accepting, but only on the condition that she lets me keep baby monitors all around her house. The night before we left, Megan kept texting about all the fun activities planned. She